Tonight, when the sun goes down, you're going to flip a switch. Light will flood the room and you won't think twice about it. But for 99.9% of human history, that switch didn't exist. When the sun set, the world went dark. And your ancestors sat inside that darkness for 12 hours a night, every single night, for hundreds of thousands of years. You still carry that darkness with you. It's coiled up in your brain right now, waiting. And tonight, when your hand fumbles for a light switch just a little too fast, that's not a habit. That's a fossil. Here's the strange part. You're not actually afraid of the dark. Darkness itself is nothing. It's an absence. What you're afraid of is what darkness hides. For most of human evolution, night was the most dangerous part of the day. Large predators did the majority of their hunting after dark, and early humans had poor night vision. No claws, no armor. A study led by anthropologist David Pilbeam and colleagues at Harvard examined predator pressure in early hominin environments and found that nighttime danger heavily shaped early human sleep and shelter behavior. The humans who survived long enough to have children were the ones who took darkness seriously. That's the twist. Fear of the dark isn't a flaw. It's a feature that got selected for because the humans who felt nothing when the sun went down didn't live long enough to pass that calmness on. It's not really about your eyes either. It's about your imagination. In a well-known study, psychologist Jerome Kagan observed that children left alone in a dim room didn't just feel uneasy. Their brains actively generated shapes and movement out of nothing. A shadow became a shoulder. A curtain became a figure. Deprived of visual information, the brain fills in the blanks, and it fills them with threats, because assuming danger and being wrong costs almost nothing. Assuming safety and being wrong could cost your life. This is threat simulation, one of the oldest tricks your nervous system plays on you. Your brain would rather have you jump at a coat rack 100 times than miss one real predator. That ratio was a winning strategy for hundreds of thousands of years. It still is, biologically speaking. Your brain hasn't been told the streetlights work now. This shows up across cultures too. Anthropologist Frank Marlowe, who spent years studying the Hadza people of Tanzania, documented how their fireside conversations shifted after dark, turning toward myths, warnings, and social caution. The fire wasn't just warmth. It drew a boundary. Inside the light, known, safe. Outside it, unknown, dark. Your brain still draws that same line instantly without you ever choosing to. So what happens when the fire burns low and a branch snaps in the dark? Your amygdala, the part of your brain built to process fear, fires before your conscious mind has even finished forming a sentence. It reacts first and explains later. That gap between the noise and the explanation is where fear lives, and it's ancient. Here's what should genuinely surprise you. You are statistically safer at night now than at almost any point in human history. And yet, the fear hasn't gone anywhere. Evolution doesn't delete old wiring just because the danger disappeared. Keeping the fear costs your brain nothing. Rewriting something that deep would cost far more. So it just sits there, mostly quiet, waiting for the lights to go off. This is why children fear the dark more than adults do. A child's brain hasn't yet built up enough evidence to override the old program. As you age, you accumulate thousands of nights of proof that nothing is coming, and the fear gets quieter, buffered by experience rather than erased by it. And this fear ranks consistently high across nearly every culture ever studied, regardless of electricity, predators, or geography. When a fear shows up everywhere, it usually isn't a response to local danger. It's built into the architecture. So the next time you feel that small flicker of unease walking into a dark room, understand what's happening. You're not being irrational. You're running software that kept your ancestors alive for an almost unimaginable stretch of time. Software so effective it outlived the danger it was built to detect. You were built by darkness, not metaphorically. The parts of your brain deciding what's dangerous and what deserves your attention were shaped night after night for hundreds of thousands of years by the very thing you now avoid with a lamp. And tonight, when you flip that switch without thinking, remember the switch is new. The fear is not. So maybe the real question was never why you're afraid of the dark. Maybe it's why you ever thought you shouldn't be.